Alright, today I'm going to show you how to speed up your computer for free in under 10 minutes. First, right click on the taskbar and choose Task Manager. Task Manager opens up. We can see our CPU usage right here. We got our page file usage right here in megabytes. It reflects what we have in RAM. It's also reflected down here next to the total page file size. And if we look to the left on the bottom, we can see the number of processes that are running. Right now we got about 40 processes running. And that's what's taking all that space in RAM. If you look down on the taskbar, we've got all these programs running. Some of them are unnecessary. We can see the task manager. We need that because we're looking at it. We got this mail program. We're not sending any emails, so let's exit it and see what happens. We can see that the number of processes has dropped. And we can also see that the page file usage has dropped. Basically meaning that we just took it out of memory. We just freed up that much memory in RAM. So that's basically going to increase your multitasking performance on the computer. And if you look down here, as many programs as you have that you don't need running, just uncheck them. Over here we can see all the processes, all those 38 processes are running. We can see how they're opened, and over here we can see how much percentage of CPU usage they're taking up. And all the way to the right is the actual amount of memory each file takes. So you can kind of get an idea for what's taking up the most memory. Some of these can be shut off right from here, and it's also a good way to close a program that is being problematic. Anything that says user is basically set up to start by the user, even if it's set up by a program. A lot of these can be shut down without worrying about anything. Sometimes I like to go in here and lower the priority or raise it depending on if it's taking up too much resources, or if I just need a program to hurry up. I don't recommend using real time. We just click End Task and click Yes on the dialog box warning, and you can see the program is closed. Also reflected down here in the number of processes, and you can see the RAM is fluctuating a little bit, but it actually has gone down. It's fluctuating because we're capturing video at the same time. And normally when you open this, it'll start out on the Applications tab, and you can see that we've got the Windows Media Encoder running, and that'll basically show you everything that's running on the taskbar. If we go back to Performance, we can see all the changes that we've made, and we can kind of get a graph. Let's close that out now and open up the System Properties. Right click on my computer and go to Properties. And there we're going to find settings where we can adjust performance based on visual settings that are loaded in memory. So if we go over here and let's click on the Advanced tab over to the right, and over here we can see Performance, and this will allow us to adjust visual styles. So click Settings, and we can see that it's already been adjusted for Windows. Windows has decided what my computer is capable of. And also here we can see settings for everything that is set up by Windows to run. If we click Adjust for Best Appearance, everything will be checked. But if we click Adjust for Best Performance, it will actually deselect everything. Basically means none of the stuff actually has to be running. But if you don't have it on, your computer will look like Windows 98. It will look very old and not very appealing. So what we can do is click Adjust for Best Performance, but then just turn on a few of these options to keep the same appearance that your computer already has. So we only have to have about 2 or 3 of these things actually turned on to make your computer still look exactly the same as it does, but with a lot less memory having to be pushed around by Windows. So we're just going to turn on maybe 2 or 3 options here. You can kind of pick and choose which ones you think you like, and you'll see differences based on what you choose. And basically just kind of take a look through and see what you're interested in once you're done. Just to show you over here on this tab, these things that are set up by Windows, it should pretty much stay where they are. Here's where you can adjust your page file size and settings here, but you don't necessarily want to do that. You want to basically let Windows handle that. So even though you've got these settings in here, you only want to adjust them if you're having issues with programs not having enough memory to run. But I recommend just leaving it to, let Windows adjust the size, and once you've basically chosen that option, make sure it's selected, click the Set button, and then click OK. And then you can go back here and make sure everything is set up, click Apply, and you'll actually see the changes take effect. But what you'll notice here is that there aren't really any changes taking effect. The computer screen that you're looking at now is my computer screen. It will look exactly the same as it did when we started the tutorial. You can't even see any differences. So click OK, and let's see. Let's look at some of our boot options. These will speed up the actual time it takes for the computer to start. This is your boot menu. It's a menu that's displayed when your computer starts up, and these numbers here are how many seconds it will take for that menu to be displayed, or how long the menu will be displayed before you can actually choose an option. And you don't have to wait the entire 30 seconds. We can put it down on something low like 3 seconds, since we only have one operating system on the computer. We don't need to choose between 2 or 3 of them if we only have one of them on there. And I recommend letting the menu go ahead and come up anyway for diagnostic reasons. And also for diagnostic reasons, you should have these options here checked, because they'll help you in the event of a system failure. And click OK to make sure all that is taken care of. Click OK here to close out of the system properties. One more thing we can do to help boot time is adjust the number of programs that are starting at boot time using the msconfig program. So just click Start, Run, type msconfig, and click OK. Dialog box will pop up. We look in there. We see the General tab, and we can see options for a normal start. This option right here is basically to boot in safe mode, and this option is automatically selected when we adjust options in the Setup tab and Services tabs, turning on or off programs that are set to boot at boot time. Over here on the left is the program, in the middle is the location to the actual file, and to the right is location in the registry where the setting is located. That way you can find it and remove it very easily if you want to pinpoint a particular program that you don't want to load at boot time. And you can basically just kind of go through here and uncheck them, and as you do, it will basically just remove that out of the registry, and it will tell it not to boot at boot time. So oftentimes if you have a virus, or if you have just too many programs loading at boot time, you go in here and just uncheck as you need. Now if we click on the Services tab, we can see a lot of services in here and the manufacturer that they're for, and whether or not they're essential. And we can even tell if they're running or stopped. I like to hide all Microsoft services because we know those are all safe. And then that way we can display just the services that were set up by other programs and other vendors. And we can shut those off as we deem necessary without too many harmful effects. Or really any harmful effects. Over here in the Boot INI tab, this is the actual setting here where it's reflected, where we changed earlier the boot menu. And this is the actual Boot INI file itself. It's what it actually looks like in the file. And you can see we only have one operating system. It has the Fast Detect option, and none of these options down here are checked because they're basically for diagnostic purposes. Safe boot is safe mode, no boot GUI is getting rid of the splash screen, and so on and so forth. So click Apply, then click Close. When the dialog box comes up, restart your computer. Then you can see the changes take effect.